Okay, there we go. We're live. All right, AM Comics and Coffee with Brett, Matt, and Tank. But Tank is late because he's eating. Because it's not the AM down in South Africa.
It's almost like it's a lie for us South African viewers.
Well, it's not. Do we have any South African viewers besides Tank?
Who knows? Maybe Killbox.
Is Killbox even on YouTube?
I don't know. I'm just throwing his name out there because he's one of the people I know who would listen to us.
Then I guess we're ruling out Sashi then.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of South Africans on Twitter.
Well, with all the fake news about South Africa, you gotta find some way to get the truth out there.
Yep.
Is there a dog in your background?
Yeah, my sister's puppy house sitting. A dog sitting.
Dog in your background? Yeah. Yeah, so trying to what's been going on since we last talked other than Mindy Wheeler. Actually, no, wasn't that like 2 weeks ago? Wasn't that still last week?
I think it started off shortly after our last podcast.
Yeah, now it's just more the fallout at this point.
It's really hit the fans now that ABS has started making his comments about Mindy and Edwin Boyette making his comments. It's a pretty big shitstorm.
Yeah, and I guess all I can say is I'm kind of glad we're not in the middle of it.
Yeah. Although I'm gonna say that I'm glad that she listened to everyone about Late Night Comics and deleted those tweets.
Yeah. Although it doesn't seem like anyone. It's a couple people who've saved screenshots and don't seem like they're going to be letting her live it down.
No, but honestly, she doesn't know who everyone is. It's pretty obvious she doesn't know who everyone is. The Comicsgate issue. So
True.
She's not going to know who Late Night Comics is.
True. That's true.
And you've got to be pretty disingenuous not to think that she did. To push that she knew who he was.
Yeah, I will give you that much. She did seem like she was one of the few people that was in it strictly for the comics.
Yeah.
And she probably did seem like she was she was ignorant to some of the larger, how do I say this? Maybe not the. It did seem like she was kind of ignorant to the hot goss behind the scenes.
Pretty much. I don't even think she knows about who any of the older YouTubers for Comicsgate are. Such as, I'm not even certain if she knows who Kevin Cummings is.
Probably. I mean, I think she also like started up her. Yeah, I mean, like she even put up her own YouTube, like around the same time she started. So, I mean, if she had it before then, I certainly didn't know because, like, she all seemed like she was majorly new to this.
Yeah, nobody really prepared for her for all of this drama.
And that's kind of a bummer that we just got a bunch of people who came in with the best intentions, but really had no idea what they were getting into.
Oh yeah, it's really frustrating to see how many actual comic creators are just being ran out.
Well, as far as I can tell, Malin is still in there, although he's probably, although he strikes me as a guy who's going to ride that ship. He's going to ride that ship until it sinks.
Well, he was on Andy Worski's stream, so.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he was on there with. Trying to think who else is on there. It was John Malin, Cecil, Yellow Flash. I'll look it up. Yeah, it was John Malin, Cecil, and Yellow Flash. They were...
fucking sucks.
This was before his big meltdown. It was during he went on there to talk about Jawbreakers getting dropped by Antarctic Press.
I thought, oh wait, hi T. John Malin had a meltdown.
No, it was before Worski's meltdown. Well, latest meltdown.
Hi T. John Malin, Mr. Comics Macho Man. The Christ, like a bitch. Wow.
No, he didn't. He was not the one who had the meltdown. It was. I was talking about before Andy Worski's latest.
Oh.
Meltdown.
Okay, I misread the signal there.
Well, it's Andy Worski. He has a meltdown every 3 months.
But it's not a Worski stream if he doesn't completely lose his mind.
Well, Diversity in Comics was supposed to be on there.
Well, of course he's not going to show.
Well, because he had bad connection. They were trying to get him on the entire for about 15 minutes, and then decided to call it off.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of clear to everyone at this point that Zach just doesn't do other people's shows.
Nope. Oh, hey.
What?
Here's something funny. In the title card for the Worski Live, he misspells John Malin as John, but in the title, he spells it right with Jon.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, you know what? Okay, so changing gears into some good news. We all know that Piper's doing that poll for her next fan art live stream.
Yep.
And we know who's in the lead.
Yeah, I really do think there might be some Jack Irons fatigue.
Which is nothing against you, Cody.
No, it really isn't. It's just a natural course where if you run something.
Say what, Matt? Matt, you cut out there for a sec. What were you saying? Oh boy. Let's hope we don't have a Spirited Dead air come in. Matt, I think your mic cut out. Eh. You know what? I bet this is retribution for Matt. Not saying that people are getting tired of Jack Irons, so Jack that cut his mic out. How about the rest of you guys? Can you at least hear me? Am I coming through all right? Oh, there's well, still have Mike Whitaker in the chat, which is good. Let's chat. Slack. Oh, it's that thing Windows 10 does. Freezes on you randomly. So I'm gonna have to be So I'm gonna be flying this solo until Matt gets back. All right, so let's check the Twitter, see if anything interesting happened. Oh, that was wrong. All right, let's see if anyone. Okay, Shane from the Rags team. From the Rags team, kind of. Well, he's the unofficial PR guy. Joke tweet. Not many people know this, but Rags Brian uploaded issues 0 through 3. We have Rags onto Tumblr for fans to read. The servers caught fire, 13 people were injured, and the CEO was forced to rewrite the rules in an effort to save the lives for money. Sorry for all the nipples, internet. Okay, so we now know it was Rags that broke Tumblr. Good to know. Let's see what else we got. Sorry if I don't have anything more funny, because about the only thing appearing on my timeline is that Trump is talking about reintroducing tariffs. I'm actually personally kind of down with because I don't know how many people know this, but before we had income taxes, which by the way, illegal. Income taxes are illegal. Tariffs were how the federal government used to make 90% of its money. I'd like them to. Sure, it made imports more expensive, but hey, it incentivized you to invest in American business. Get money within the country. Oh, now this is good. Seattle's finally getting an NHL team. Fucking yay! If there's any sport that could do gangbusters out in Washington, it's definitely fucking hockey. I'm gonna have to tweet this. The only question is, what are they gonna call the team? That's going to be good for the city, though. There's going to be money to get in the stadium, spent to get the stadium set up. And then, of course, there's all the revenue that's going to be generated from the ticket sales and merchandise. That's at least going to be good. Yeah, almost thought it was baseball. But yeah. Fuck, it's probably because I spent some time living in Canada, but I really do love hockey. Hockey is about the only sport where you can actually have a fist fight break out in the middle of it, and it's just it's all part of the game. I mean, sure, people end up in the penalty boxes for starting fights, but it's just how things are, okay? It's just how it's done. Like, it's just how hockey players do it. Who thinks? Oh. Yeah. And yes, Mike, to answer your question, I do remember Blade Runner. I've seen Blade Runner like, fuck, many times. Okay, I can't even respond to Matt because Slack isn't even connected. No, I'll use the streaming computer. All right. Yep, it's football, both versions, boxing and ice skating in one package. Mike, that is why hockey is the best sport.
Hello?
There you. Oh, hey, Tank. Now I don't have to. Good. Now I don't have to do this all by myself.
No, you don't.
Matt was in here, but Matt, Tank,
Yeah.
are you aware that apparently Windows 10 has this thing where it'll randomly freeze on you?
No.
Because I just found that out recently, and apparently Matt has that problem too. And that's what I'm starting to think is the problem with my PC instead of it being a hardware issue.
That sounds like it could be a driver mismatch.
Yeah, in fact, when I looked up possible solutions, one of the suggested solutions was updating your drivers.
Or in most cases, downgrading to previous stable drivers.
I didn't, dude. Do you think tech companies intentionally ship out new OSs with bugs as a feature?
No. I mean, I've seen all of these things, and I can tell you this much. If anybody does anything stupid like that, it's not going to be just to force you. I mean, if they wanted you to upgrade to a new operating system, what does Microsoft have on the market? They've got nothing. They've only got their older operating systems on the market. So them purposely shipping a faulty operating system to get you to upgrade doesn't make sense. It holds no water.
So what? This was just a bug they didn't catch? Because that's about the only other explanation I can think of that makes sense. Please don't tell me I'm losing
And we'll
YouTube.
fix it.
Say what?
If enough people report the problem to them, they'll be able to get enough, they'll gather enough data to be able to see how this bug happens, reproduce it, then patch it.
Yeah.
Or in most cases, it's literally down to your hardware not having correct driver or anything installed. But I've seen a screenshot of your PC now. It's pretty much the same hardware I'm running, so I doubt it's that it's too old. I honestly think it might just be a driver mismatch.
Yeah, so it's a software problem, not a hardware problem.
It's a possibility.
Well,
See that, but it's one of the possibilities.
I prefer. Well, that's better for me though, because you know what, software is easy to fix.
relatively.
Well, compared to hardware, it's not as much of a pain.
Yes,
Software,
especially if you're running on a computer that last received any sort of hardware updates 6 years ago.
I
you like me,
and I can tell
you
and
like
I told,
if you get any sort of issue, it's going to take a total system overhaul. I'm talking motherboard, processor, RAM, you name it.
just like I said, like I told you guys, that 6-year-old CPU. Okay, for one, it was bought brand new, but I did not buy it knowing it was 6 years old. My friend and Derek just handed me a link on Amazon, and I didn't question anything.
Look, I will tell you this much. I bought this processor knowing full well how old it is, what the hardware specs of it are, but I'm not regretting it because it still works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just probably gotta figure out the driver situation, and then it'll probably sort itself out. I'll have to probably run that by Dan. This is his wheelhouse.
When it froze up on you, did it give you any sort of blue screen?
No, I've never gotten the blue screen. It's just like it'll just freeze up at some random point. I won't be able to move the mouse. I won't have an internet connection. Anything.
What were you running? I had that when I was running Media Player. It legitimately, I was playing games, I was to listen to music, and due to memory leaks in Media Player, PC to freeze up and everything else go from there. So I'm not using Media Player anymore at all, except when I am rewriting my discs to listen to music in my car, because being an old model from 2007, I have no MP3 capability in my car. Yes, I literally have to use CDs still if I want to.
My van is from 1999. It has a tape player, so I just have an adapter that I can plug my phone into.
Yeah, I don't even have that. But yeah, tape player. I remember those.
Yep. Even I'm old enough. Even I'm only 28, and even I remember cassettes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny if you think about it, how fast technology is advanced. I mean, when I was growing up, the hot thing to have was a Walkman, so you could listen to your music on your tapes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember back when I first heard about MP3s, and then I found out, oh my god. You mean I don't have to have CDs anymore?
Yeah. That was kind of fun, but that's how technology advances.
He's finally back.
Yeah, that was all your fault. Just so you know. You brought up Windows 10 freezing.
You know, Matt, are you using a laptop or an actual tower?
I'm using a laptop because my tower sucks with the connection.
Oh, so he probably can't do anything about his drivers, can he, Tank?
Drivers are still available, depending on how old the laptop is.
It's pretty new. I got it just got it this year.
Then there should definitely be new drivers available for it. Normally, the new laptops do have diagnostic software installed on them, so you can just run with those.
Okay.
And then it'll detect what drivers are available for you and automatic.
I'm probably gonna have to sit down with Dan and have him talk me through this.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Having a
But
new.
on to today's fun times.
Oh boy.
Other than I just found out on Twitter that Seattle's finally getting its own NHL team.
Oh. Oh, okay. That's interesting. What are they going to be called?
To be announced, as far as I can tell. I'm playing
Ah.
couple idea. I am thinking. I'm hoping like maybe Seattle Sasquatches. What the fuck? We actually have a dislike on this stream.
Might-
Yeah. We got trolls. But yeah, no, that's just, it was kind of funny today. I mean, I dropped a few followers because I didn't want to disavow Mindy Wheeler.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Mindy when we started, and how
I mean, come on.
and I think we kind of came to the conclusion that Mindy was one of the people, and I don't want to say one of the few because we don't know the numbers. Mindy was like one of the people. Mindy was one of those people who was in Comicsgate, who was purely in it for the comics, and she clearly had no idea about the hot goss behind the scenes.
No, she didn't. But that said, at the end of the day, I'm not too phased. These people that unfollow me due to me having a controversial opinion, there's more where that came from, folks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like that's every time I drop followers, it's like, okay. I mean, like I feel like I just lost some progress, but hey, look, followers are like money. You can always get more.
I had a few drops every time I stood up for Brian on Twitter, so I know how that goes.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, the correct people will follow you eventually. I'm not too phased about it. It's going to happen, especially if you start stepping on some toes of the more established folks that they like to follow, especially if you start shit talking them or shit posting about them.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm actually amazed I haven't lost. You know, I honestly thought I'd lose followers just for retweeting Trump. I haven't. Like, wow, that is more tolerable than some of the opinions I have on Comicsgate. Apparently,
I have, yeah, the majority of my followers are carried over from my days from political shit posting.
Well, I found a tweet that's purely self-protection.
Really?
On Slack right now.
Let's take a look.
But yeah,
Soyber
I mean,
frog. Oh god, I like this guy's username already. National Pie Champion. Let's see if I can get it. The 3 signs of an evil person. Speaks in monologues. Writes in manifestos. Can't laugh at themselves.
Read that bio.
War campaign did 9/11. Lando fam. I'm gonna follow this guy. I like him.
He seems like a parody account.
Like Ethan Van Cyborg.
Yep.
I don't care. I mean, I do like me some parody accounts.
Oh yeah. Except for that one Mark Wade parody account, he just kind of annoying after a while.
Yeah, but that guy is confirmed mentally unstable.
Oh.
Yep.
Is that who we? Okay. Does this? Is this a mentally unstable individual that perhaps sells comics at a unreasonable hour?
Nope.
Nope.
This is a guy that has a secondary account that makes parody characters of everybody.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
He's the only one I've
Okay,
actually seen
those are
before
my-
I get pissed at.
Those were my ears. Thank you very much. I'm wearing headphones, just by the way.
Sorry.
No, don't worry. I'm kind of used to having a lot of noise. But I suppose, on to better things. I suppose you saw the cool Mave art done by Evil Miki.
Yes, I did. It's cute.
Yes, it is.
And we needed that after that abomination Xeno-based did on a dare I did not give him.
Yes, but it was implied.
You did say you have yet to see bad May fan art, and this being the internet.
No, I said
saying something.
What I said was, "Show me bad May fan art, and I will eat my hat."
Yes.
And
Never
so
say something like that on the internet. It will be taken as a challenge.
I know. Why do you think I haven't? Why do you think I haven't dared for the line we dare not cross?
Yes, exactly. You don't want to go down that route.
I am never going down that road. I'd fucking die if that happened.
Because you with your dog whistles, that is like the ultimate motherfucking dog whistle.
I know.
Especially if all those pedo accounts are sprouting up.
Oh, yes. Let's not even talk about that. The nice little exodus from Tumblr imploding.
The good news is these people are stupid enough to advertise that they're pedophiles, so they'll get reported almost immediately.
Well, never mind that. There's plenty of people on Twitter that have a fucking great dislike of them. John can blame them.
I know, man. Like it's like I can't believe how much these people try to play the persecution card. It's like we all we know the South Park episode, dude. You want to have sex with children?
I've got no sympathy with you. If I public, 3 letters, GBH.
I have 3 words, drawn and quartered.
They'll survive. They're just not gonna have a lot of fun because death is. But enough for that stuff. I'm just taking a look here again. I mean, this is getting pretty dark, so I'm just looking for something fun to look at.
Well, okay, yeah. I got something. Victor sent me another rough of the special commission. Okay.
I'm taking a look at panels that Narwhal put up for Earthbound.
Okay. Well, I got another.
That is looking.
Yeah, Earthbound is. I gotta give Narwhal credit. Like his stuff is at least. His stuff that he's doing with Earthbound. That stuff has style. It has identity. Nothing else looks.
He's got his own unique style, and that's what I like about it. That's what I like about it. His book has its own unique style. It looks great, and it's fun. It looks like a great book.
Yeah. Still not quite sure what. Still not quite sure what his what the premise behind his book is. I mean, like all I can tell is that it's some kind of science fiction story, but it's doesn't look like it's about aliens or anything.
Back to competition. No, I haven't really. I want to back it, but I'm financially a little bit screwed off the medical bills.
Yeah, I know. All right, so here's the updated rough Victor sent me for the special holiday commission.
Should be cool. Waiting for it.
Hold up. I got it. All right, so I want to preface this, guys. I just want to say, whatever you're going to preface, this is a rough. So if anything looks off to you, this is not what it. Just remember, the final product will not look like this.
Oh, obviously. I mean, that's why it's called a rough.
Yeah, that seems like something to be very. That's something that's implied in the name, rough.
I know.
Yeah.
So what?
Too many lines.
Too many lines.
I'm kidding. Looks cute.
That's the one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll give Victor this much. He has a great even for a rough. Just pencil work. That's looking great.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe
that is properly good.
Can you believe he's self-taught?
Yeah.
Most artists I know are self-taught.
Although there are some who are self-taught but never improve their style.
Oh, Rob Liefeld.
Well, yeah, and I've got a friend who absolutely refuses to change his art style. Just to improve upon it or learn anything new to improve it, because it's perfect as it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
About the only thing I'm not really digging is just her expression. It looks kind of flirty.
I'm waiting for it to load because potato connection.
Yeah, I can actually see that. It
Yeah.
looks. Maybe save this. I say that kind of look for when she's doing a photo for Andy or whoever.
Yeah, but he had another rough where I thought she had a better expression. It was a little bit more. It was more innocent looking. Because that's what people like.
What? She looks happy. She's got a gingerbread man in her mouth.
Yeah, but look at her eyes. It looks kind of. Can't like Matt can see it. It looks kind of flirty.
Yeah,
it's your character. Your character. You do it. You do you.
Let me put it this way: maybe at this point is not a flirt. Actually, I'm not even sure she'd ever be a flirt. That's Regina's thing.
nope. Yep.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like people. This was something I kind of had like a back and forth with Ginger about. It's like it was kind of interesting, like comparing like how like Regina and Sugar sort of use their sex appeal.
Yeah, and Maeve's thing is innocence.
Yeah, well, not talking. I know. Like, but that's. I'm talking more like comparing like how Regina and Sugar do it, because with Regina, there's kind of a playfulness to her sex appeal. It's because like with Regina, it's like, yeah, I know what I got. You got a problem?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just gonna repost a little something else.
Whereas with Sugar, it's like you kind of get the sense like she's down for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's no hiding what's going on there, though.
Oh no. Yeah, it's definitely not gonna be for everyone.
Oh no.
Well, that's the idea.
Do we file this under NSFW?
What?
What? They've got clothes on.
Yeah, but it's like, I guess it's just a hair's breadth away.
Is exactly what I went for.
I'm waiting for it's load time on my end.
So you've also got a shitty connection to that.
It's weird because I was able to see Victor's, roughs instantly. Yours, I just can't see at all.
The fuck?
Just wait for it to load. It'll be there eventually.
Yes.
Now I'm waiting for that one to be finished before I drop that on Twitter proper.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I bet. Oh yeah, I know you can't. I'm actually kind of hoping Victor and Ginger can get this holiday commission done within the month, so I can change my profile pic to something well more season.
Festive?
Yeah, more season appropriate. Yes.
Yeah, so Tank, definitely NSFW for where the hands are going.
Yeah, it's a. Yeah.
What? Paradox?
No, wait. One of the. Not quite. Not quite. I see where one of the hands is going.
And one of the legs.
Well, come on. I mean, like I said.
Yeah, I know we. Okay, Mike Whitaker in the chat says, in some sense, I wish I could change my writing style and improve it, but after I read Raymond Chandler, I couldn't stop trying to imitate the style / genre in my own way. But I hope my writing style improves with each project I try to undertake. Now, there's actually something interesting to me. Like, did we sort of, like, all three of us are writers. Did we kind of start out just sort of essentially copying writers we liked, and then just somehow figured out our style along the way?
I just literally started putting down on paper. I mean, I've got no idea if I am in any way, shape, or form imitating any sort of writer. I've got no clue. That is for other people to decide. I don't know.
You got to take on that, Matt?
What's that? I was catching up on chat.
When we started all three of us we write. Did we start out just like did we start out imitating writers we liked, and then just somehow along the way figured out our style?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the biggest influence for me was J. Michael Straczynski, simply because a lot of my childhood had shows that he wrote for. The Real Ghostbusters, Captain Power, He-Man, and then later Babylon 5.
You see, for me, writing style is a bit of a mess, because if I have to list my story influences that I read a lot, the majority of it's Tom Clancy, and I'm actually actively trying to avoid writing like him.
Like with all that attention to detail.
To put it bluntly, tech porn is pretty much how I would describe his writing style. Because if you read any of his books, any one of his novels, if he starts explaining firearms or equipment, it goes into so much detail. It's like, I like this. I like the. Fuck me, you're writing almost an entire 2 paragraphs on just describing what the fucking weapon looks like, what the helicopter looks like, what the fucking sub does.
David Weber is guilty of this too.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like his stories. Rainbow Six is, in my opinion, a must read. But fuck me.
Somehow my dad, I'm not kidding you, somehow my dad managed to read The Hunt for the Red October within a day.
Huh. Interesting.
In the morning, and all you do is read. It's possible.
Yeah. I think what happened was I think it was one of his days off from work. He just sat down and read the book. Just spent the whole day reading it.
I read Halo: The Fall of Reach in half a day. I literally woke up in the morning at 5 o'clock, and around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock the afternoon, I was done.
Hold on, let me look up. What was the page count for Fall of Reach?
But that's
352 pages, although the reprint has 416.
Yeah, the reprint, the reason the reprint, I have the original copy because they described the Fall of Reach as something that happened in a couple of hours. The problem is, if you do the reprint, they mirror it closer to Halo Reach the game, in which it spans over a week or, more a couple of days rather than just a couple of hours. And that's why the reprint has more pages.
Hunt for Red October has 387 pages.
So doable.
Yeah.
But still, it's a good book.
I guess it's all kind of down to whether or not they can hold your attention, though.
Yeah. I'll say that much to Tom Clancy's books. They do hold your attention, but you must be in the mood for them.
Yeah, and as I tweeted like a few weeks back, I am one of those people for whom a novel just cannot hold my attention. Walls of text are just. I can't look at walls of text. I need visual. My brain is more oriented towards visuals.
So what you're saying is I don't have a customer in you. Thanks, buddy.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Look, you can just buy the book and not read it.
I'll
And
buy
then
the
it's
audio-
your take.
I'll buy the audiobook.
If I eventually do one.
I mean, I'll buy the book just to support you.
Fuck!
What?
I just knocked over my can of beer.
Mike says my dad can read Stephen King and Tom Clancy, but they seem more dense than Tolkien to me.
Stephen King, I can understand, and Tom Clancy is, for lack of a better term, an acquired taste.
You either like him or you don't.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like I've even heard. Yeah, I think when I had Brian on my podcast, like even he said like I do like some Tom Clancy, but I think even Brian has a hard time sticking with it.
Yeah, because if you do get into it, there is, especially for somebody like Brian, there would definitely be some, how to put this, inaccuracies for somebody with his level of attention to detail to these things. It would start getting a little bit grating for him.
Really? Because I thought Tom Clancy was like almost pedantic with his detail.
When it comes down to the tactics and everything employed, like when the guys are actually going on deployment, doing missions and things like that. A lot of their tactics sometimes, even for a layman like myself, you're sitting there wondering, that doesn't seem fucking smart. They literally do things that are so fucking stupid. I would have done it this way. If you watch enough shows where they show you tactics and everything, read up on these things, you kind of get the gist of where they want to go with it. But that said, if you look at a lot of these things, and then after a while, if you do know a bit more about Tom Clancy, you do realize, and Matt actually mentioned this as well, a lot of his later books are ghost.
Yeah, ghost written because I think a lot of it had to do with like his health was starting to take a turn for the worst, wasn't it?
Then I think his name became more of a business now, since.
True.
His name.
Yeah, so
it's actually interesting how his name has become
A
more,
brand.
yeah, more of a brand than anything else.
Well, for one, what do they? What do games like Rainbow Six and Splinter Cell have attached to them?
Yeah. Interesting thing though about Rainbow Six, the game's ending actually differs from the novelization's ending. From around the last two missions, the narrative actually splits from the novel's ending.
Well, it might have been just that the novel's ending didn't really fit with the game's story.
No, the game's development finished before the novel was finished.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes you've got a lot of times when it comes to a novelization, they're given early scripts to work with rather than the shooting script. Sometimes they'll just do what they can to fill in the gaps, such as with some of the Star Trek novelizations, especially with Star Trek 6, the writer had to make up some stuff to explain why Kirk had this sudden hatred for Klingons again.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, are you guys going to read this? Can I spoil it for you?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, the way the novel ends, they assault the Horizon Corporation, the Horizon Corporation's main habitat, where they were planning on waiting out virus and repopulate Earth. Yeah, it's one of those stories. And basically, the Rainbow assaults them there, captures the leader and everything, and pretty much hunky-dory off. The game ends after the virus was kind of on the verge of being released, and they faced them down at one of their corporate headquarters in New York City, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the novelization ends while they are hidden away base somewhere in the Brazilian jungles.
Between the two, which do you think is the better ending?
The novelization was more exciting, definitely a lot more grounded in how I would like to have seen the game end as well. Because I played the game first and I read the novel later. So I already knew how the game ended, and then I read the novel.
Yeah.
Both are good. Both are good. Let me just get that out of the way. Because like I said, the game follows the novelization right up until pretty much the last chapter, the last two missions taking part where the last chapter was taking part. So the last two missions filling that gap, and obviously that's where the split happens.
You know, I know you said like a lot of like if you were looking for a writer that would have influenced you to be Tom Clancy. I'm kind of surprised that a 40K fanboy like yourself hasn't read any of the novels.
My fascination with 40K actually started, like I said, around 2008 when I played Dawn of War.
Yeah.
That's where my fascination started with that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, pretty much all the information I require that I've read up on is online. I mean, I would love to read the novels, but yeah. And afterward, as we discovered last week,
just the Horus heresy alone would take you a lifetime.
I'll be back. I'm just getting something to drink quickly.
All right. Yeah, that's just wow. There is so much out there for 40K.
I don't begrudge Games Workshop. up. I mean, like they put out all those novels to flesh out the universe. I get it, but it's just like Jesus Christ, you could fill a whole library with those alone.
But then again, that's the case of a lot of tie-in novels. They'll have a new book every month, such as they used to do that all the time with Star Trek, Star Wars, and to a lesser degree, Beltec had a long-running tie-in novel series, but they decided to stop doing prints.
Yeah, it's just, but like I said, I don't envy the people who have to be the editors for those novels. Like those have got to, especially with how long some of those books get.
Yeah, but tie-in novels are pretty big money makers.
Yeah, yeah. I guess people still read books these days, and like, hey, now we got 2 likes to balance out that one dislike. That's good.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm pretty certain that came from the misunderstanding where you thought that John Malin had a breakdown.
That kind of would have been, not gonna lie, that would have been funny.
Yeah, but it's actually, I don't think he'll ever have a meltdown simply because he doesn't seem to have the mentality for it. See, he doesn't have.
Yeah, I know. That's just like the image of like how like it's just the image Malin has for himself about like how he's the, like I said, he's pretty much CG's macho guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And just the idea of him having a public meltdown just flies so in the face of that. That's why it's funny to me.
Honestly, if he did have a public meltdown, nobody would let him live it down.
Oh, you're right.
Remember how Diversity in Comics went on the Jim Jeffries show and with that horrible haircut?
Okay,
Yeah.
back.
It was a bad
Back.
idea. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Okay. There was something I was gonna bring up. Oh, now I remember. This was something I kind of asked another 40K fan at work.
Hmm?
Who do you think is responsible for the Horus Heresy? Because the way I see it, there are 4 possible causes you can trace it back to. Chaos Gods, the Emperor, Lorgar, and Horus.
If you have to trace it back to just purely the Imperium side, Lorgar and Head Chaplain Erebus.
Yeah, I mean, true. It was Lorgar was it was Lorgar and Erebus who set out to corrupt
But-
Horus.
If you have to go all the way through, it is Erebus because he was originally tainted and he's the one that started to kind of twist Lorgar, and from there on it all spiraled out of fucking control.
Although you have to remember, they kind of got put down on that path when the Emperor punished the Word Bearers.
Well, yes, because he didn't want them to do anything based on religion, because he wanted them to spread the imperial truth.
Yeah. And at that point, yeah, you had pretty much when the Emperor did that, the Word Bearers, like some of them, they were kind of put in a deep state of depression, and it's amazing none of them killed themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, well, but if we, it's how the writers wanted the story to go.
Yeah. And then, of course, this is obviously all the machinations of the Chaos Gods because they want the Emperor out of the picture for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but they keep failing.
And then, of course, they had to kind of put the blame on Horus because why else would it be called the Horus Heresy?
Big mystery there.
I wonder why.
Because the reason why it was as bad as it got was because Horus was such a charismatic leader.
Yep.
He was a charismatic leader, but at the end of the day, he was also a bit of a fucking idiot.
Well, most
I mean, to be perfectly honest, he got usurped by fucking Failbadon the Armless. 13 motherfucking Black Crusades to the only way he could eventually accomplish something was to destroy a planet instead of taking it as he originally wanted to. That said, Cadia is not exactly the easiest planet to take, considering the entire fucking planet is a fortress world. But still. He had to choose the fucking nuclear option.
Yep.
Yeah. Although I think I had a back and forth with Mim Headroom about he was talking about how he kind of fell for Perturabo.
Perturabo, how to put he I honestly think he got a raw deal from the writers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I honestly think if the writers had any sort of sense, he would have not gone Demon Prince. I honestly think that he would have been more of a better suited archetype for a rogue Primarch. You know, kind of continuing doing his thing, fucking up chaos, and pretty much any loyalists that come across their path, but pretty much still remaining true to the Emperor's path of what he planned. But I don't think the writers had any foresight at that point in time, and they just, he's going to become a Demon Primarch. Because they got lazy.
Yeah. But yeah, he said like he kind of fell for the guy just because he just wanted to build bridges and help people, but they kept pushing him and making him a psychopath.
Exactly. And I think that is where the writers kind of fucked it up. In my opinion, they could have had one of the Primarchs, him. Or Primarch, I think that would have also gone very well as a rogue Primarch, would have been Mortarion.
Or Conrad.
Not so much, because that guy's just fucking straight up psychopath.
Well, that Mortarion definitely, just because between Angron, Fulgrim, Magnus, and Mortarion actually despises being a Demon Prince. And he actually hates Nurgle.
Yeah. So that's why I think that those two Primarchs would have been better suited as rogue, quote unquote. I mean, the Iron Warriors as a rogue legion in and of itself could have been so much more interesting. I mean, now you've got a group of guys that build defenses and siegecraft on par with the Imperial Fists, pretty much roaming the galaxy, doing their own thing. Yeah, it kind of, if written right, that could have created so much more interesting implications on the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so just one of the scenarios I'm thinking of is, so let's say you've got a world like one of the campaigns, global campaigns that they ran, the Fall of Medusa 4. Now you've got a random incursion of the Iron Warriors who've already set up on the world and entrenched the damn thing, and now you've got the Necrons and all the other races that come in there. Now you've got a heavily entrenched legion of these guys, and because they still quote unquote pure, they could still be recruiting new warriors to join them. See, it creates a very interesting dichotomy there. So you've got these guys
it also kind of throws into like this wild card. Like they're not they're not loyalists, but they're not chaos, but they're not traitors either.
Exactly, which would have made for a very interesting story twist. But they didn't go down that route, and I think that's a missed opportunity that Games Workshop made.
Mike says, I was going to say, Mike says, have to say all this talk about 40K, which I remain completely ignorant of. Perhaps even after hearing you guys is definitely soothing to write to.
40K, like Beltec, has got deep lore. There's a lot to cover. I mean, you could literally cover multiple streams talking about either.
Same with D&D.
Yeah. But as to our little discussion earlier today on Slack while I was at work and you guys were messing around with everything else. One of the things I was thinking about, finalizing one of my characters for commissions and everything, I kind of like the idea of considering the one character is, like I said, she's fucking tall. She's 6'5". Which is pretty much as tall as I am. But then one of the characters that's planned to come in Volume 2, her sister. I like the idea of having her shorter, but I don't know. I don't know why.
I'm kind of actually amazed that when you listed off all your character types, they're either really tall or really short. Not one of them is average.
So I just saw this.
Yeah.
And be warned, if you see a lot more adult content on Twitter, it'll be because Tumblr is going to be banning all adult content soon.
Yeah. We
know about that.
As of the 17th of December, all adult content. Every single last bit of it. Doesn't even matter if it's anything. If it shows just the smallest amount of boob or nipple, it's gone.
Yeah, I know. And
Which is around 90% of their fucking user base.
The suicide of Twitter, of Tumblr, is great to behold.
Now here's the funny thing, though. You know how these animation studios keep hiring from Tumblr?
Yes.
Okay, now
you mean they're gonna have to go elsewhere now?
They're gonna have to come to Twitter, and with the amount of decent artists on Twitter,
Although, to be honest, a lot
of these bad artists are going to get buried. And it's not even a thing due to politics, because a lot of these good artists that I know fall in line with the political ideology that they have at these animation studios. But that said, I don't care about the politics of a lot of these artists. I honestly don't. I mean, I follow so many of them.
Although I certainly don't want them putting their politics in fucking children's cartoons. They don't belong there.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, there's this one artist I follow, Jen Bartel. You can pick up from her that she's not crazy left-leaning, but she does lean left. But my goodness, her is astounding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's just hope if they start hiring artists off Twitter, we at least see the CalArt style go out of style.
You're hoping.
That is my thing, because they go to Tumblr where pretty much majority of the artists that I could pick up are tryhards. They don't have a lot of effort that they put into their work. Then you go onto Twitter, and I've seen a lot of young artists that have not a lot of, they state their ages. They're like 16 years old, but my goodness, are they talented?
Oh, yeah.
Stop retweeting this fucker into my timeline.
What?
Yeah, it strikes me as odd. You have these people. You said you're leaving. You said you're leaving. Blah
Oh.
blah blah blah. And then every single fucking tweet, they have to go back and re-quote tweet this person. So who are the ones actually making the fucking drama, you assholes?
Oh, is this? I'm
Yeah.
gonna type this in the chat, because
Yep.
that's what I thought. I think Tumblr wants to die. It might be somewhere.
But yeah, so that's my problem. You have these people that you realize you're perpetuating the fucking drama, you fucking assholes. Boos.
Oh, like it said, I heard on the Receive podcast, the people who say that they're against drama are usually the ones who perpetuate drama.
Pretty fucking much.
I don't mind drama as long as it's something I can get a chuckle out of. That being said, I'm not the guy who actively goes out to start it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But anyway.
there's one guy who I pretty much termed as Saruman. Let me type in who it is.
I think I know who he's talking about. Personally,
Hello.
I go with Garima Wormtongue.
Yeah, but this guy is more. He makes you think that he's on your side, much like Saruman did with Gandalf.
True.
And it's begun.
The great Twitter purge.
Oh,
The invasion has begun.
yeah, someone actually found an MAP account.
Oh boy.
We knew it was good. Hey, we knew when Tumblr was gonna purge the adult content, these freaks were gonna flock here.
Yep.
Yeah, you do realize what you need to do now. Extra
Gotta-
vigilant.
Get the report. Start reporting these bastards.
Yeah, but for what?
Uh,
I know why I would report them. Don't get me wrong. I know exactly why I would report them, but for what? Of the numerous quote unquote / hashtag crimes on Twitter would you report them for? Because remember, at the end of the day, there's still rules and shit that you need to follow on the fucking platform. So what would you be reporting them for? Targeted harassment. They've not engaged in any. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't.
they're advertising that they're pedophiles. Isn't that a reason enough?
There's no reporting option for that.
Unfortunately.
Personally,
there
I
wa-
would take a shotgun. I would personally take a shotgun to their computers to prevent them from going onto the internet at all.
Fuck.
But
I'd personally stare them to Chris Hansen as people to keep an eye on.
Sadly, there isn't an option. On the one hand, I wish there was an option to report them for that, but on the other hand, if there was, it would get abused to hell.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing I would do though. If I ever do find their accounts, I would just spam Chris Hansen gifts into them the whole time.
So I guess I have to troll them off Twitter then.
Why the fuck not? I mean,
Let's see.
I'm not abusing any sort of feature. I'm just engaging in shit posting.
Yep.
But yeah. Oh fuck! I forgot to mention 8 days. 8 days of work left for me this year.
Gotta be nice.
Hey, you've got no fucking idea.
I wish I had I wish I had a vacation. I haven't had a vacation in years.
Yeah, but that said, I'm the kind of guy that I would sit the whole year at work. Literally, I would not take any sort of leave because I keep it all for the end of the year. So, yeah, here's hoping. Because I've got quite a few things I would like to accomplish during the December shutdown. This just in, guys. Ozzy Osbourne is 70 years old.
You know, how is he still alive?
Yeah, especially considering he bit the head off a fucking bat.
And not just that, there's like also
Drugs.
Yeah, like I don't think he's ever been clean.
You know, I think it literally comes down to fucking luck, and he pretty much got the whole lucky rabbit shoved up his ass.
Well, then again, Keith Richards supposedly snorted his father's ashes, and he's still alive.
Yeah. But how are talented people like Lemmy no longer around?
Keith Richards is talented, or at least he was at one point.
Stages of fucking talent, in my opinion. I'm just relating it to music I actually listen to.
So what? You don't listen to the Rolling Stones like at all?
No, I don't, because I honestly do not like the Stones. I don't like the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
Fucking dead air.
I'm just not sure what I was supposed to say to that. It's just like, dude, wow, you don't like. Well, Tank doesn't like the Rolling Stones.
It's fine. I've never heard a song of theirs, so I can't really say.
For real, for real.
Or not one I can remember.
Painted Black is pretty much the iconic song that I know of them.
Painted Black.
I have listened to a lot of their stuff. Look, I've got no problem with their music. It's just it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Sam, who's a guitarist, he says like he found Mick Taylor, between Keith Richards and Mick Taylor, he found Mick Taylor to be the better guitarist.
Yeah. No. To be bluntly honest, my introduction to music, obviously you grow up and you listen to the stuff your parents listen to and everything before your own musical identity starts taking form.
Yeah. In my case, that was the Eagles and Eric Clapton, thanks to my dad.
Everything my parents listened to, I mean, and this is going to be, I mean, they listen to everything from Creedence to REO Speedwagon to fucking BZN, some Dutch band. They listen to all sorts. And I do mean fucking all sorts. As for me, my musical identity started taking shape after my oldest brother started listening to Nirvana.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. Crazy, but you have to understand, I mean, this is from South Africa and everything. So a lot of music when I was growing up was banned. Believe it or not, Spanish Train by Christa Berg was actually banned by the apartheid government.
For real?
Huh.
Yes, because it's according to the government, it blasphemed against God.
Interesting.
Yes. That said, a lot of people don't really know about. I mean, everybody knows about the shitty part of apartheid. The other things that a lot of people don't know about is all the banned media. A lot of songs. You know, Rodriguez or Cold Fact, that album, Sugar Man, and those kinds of tracks. Those songs. That entire album was banned. because it, according to the government, spread subversive messages because it undermined the fabric of society.
Wow.
Yes. Apartheid South African government was pretty much, how can I put this?
Heavy-handed.
Think Prohibition America, but instead of just on booze, they did it on media as well.
Wow. So heavy-handed is putting it lightly then.
Yeah, pretty much. So obviously you can imagine why the backlash against them was so heavy.
Kind of sounds like South Africa overcorrected.
No shit, Sherlock.
Oh man.
But yeah, I don't want to go too far down that fucking rabbit hole because that's bullshit.
Honestly, it's
But yeah, so that's the whole thing. I mean, but back onto the music and everything. Yeah. So my oldest brother started listening to Nirvana. I started listening to that, then Foo Fighters and everything, and then I discovered Metallica. And from there on, I was.
Did you start with the Black Album?
Actually, no.
Good. The Black Album is the pleb album.
I actually need to fucking look up what the album's name was. But anyway, it's the one with Whiskey in the Jar.
Whiskey in the Jar. Let me look that up. I think I know which one that is, but Matt, mute your phone.
that was probably another notification that Cody retweeted a Jack Irons tweet. My phone apparently is in love with Jack Irons.
I get it. So can you just at least mute it though?
I thought it was on mute.
Set to vibrate.
But yeah, so that's pretty much where my conversion to quote unquote semi-metalhead started.
Holy shit, that's actually a traditional Irish folk song that they did a cover of. Which is a cover of a Thin Lizzy song. Well, it's a traditional Irish song that was done by Thin Lizzy, which, okay, that makes sense. I think, if I remember correctly, Lars loves Thin Lizzy. By the way, the album is Garage Inc.
Yeah, that's the one. That's pretty much where I discovered metal.
You discovered them through the compilation album through the cover album.
Well, what can I say? I mean, fuck. Shit in this country wasn't exactly the best thing to start off with. I mean, so, and from there on, I started listening to fucking all sorts. I mean, a lot of people will fucking crucify me for this, but the next metal band I started listening to, and a lot of metal purists will fucking hate me for this, it was Static X.
The first album I ever bought was the Triptych by Demon Hunter.
Yeah, and after that, after I started listening to Static X, that's where everything else started pretty much going downhill. That's why I started listening to pretty much everything I could find to, kind of piece out what bands I like and everything. And yeah, I mean, I've only recently started getting into death metal. Black metal is still pretty much something I kind of avoid because it's not exactly something I really like. You know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I recently started I kind of started on the Norwegian stuff, like with Dark Throne. This is stuff you are either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, see, the thing with what I do find interesting about death metal is it comes in so many fucking tastes and genres of it. So how to put this? So you've got melodic death metal. You've got stuff like it's just I don't know. I mean, I'm not even gonna try to name all the fucking subgenres because it's a fool's errand to try.
Well, then you got the Florida death metal bands, the Swedish death metal bands.
Yeah, European death metal is quite interesting because you get the types with the guys with the fucking groups with the growlers. Then you get stuff like Arch Enemy, which is very interesting because the current lead singer, some Canadian chick. I mean, she's she's nice to look at, but then she unpacks that voice and it's like, yeah, I'd never want to make her angry.
Yeah,
because it's the kind of blood curdling voice. It's like, yeah.
and now they made another Netflix has an anime about a cute little red panda that does death metal karaoke.
What?
Agretsuko. So the premise behind this, it's a slice of life anime where like it's the world is populated by anthropomorphic animals, but they're all cute and it looks like Hello Kitty. They're Hello Kitty, any sort of animals.
Death metal.
Yeah, here's where it goes. Like the main character Agretsuko, she's a red panda. She works an office job, and fuck does she hate it.
Well,
So to unwind,
I can attest to the fact that hating a fucking office job.
Yeah. So to unwind, she does karaoke, but she sings death metal songs.
I think I may have to give this one a try though. Just for the pure fact that it sounds unique.
Yeah. How many people had their introduction to death metal be Death Clock? Because that was mine.
Probably a lot of people.
I really loved the Metalocalypse back in the day.
Too bad they didn't get an ending.
Oh yeah, like Brendan Small actually. There was an interview he did with Loudwire, where he talked about like he had all these ideas for like where the show was gonna go, but then, well, due to the cutthroat nature of television, like he just kind of found it. He just kind of found himself like cut off, like yeah, sorry. And so, but the only thing we got about the closest thing we have to an ending is that movie.
Yep.
But yeah, I really did Metalocalypse was really good. Like just like it was. I can hear that puppy again.
No, that was me trying to contain laughter because holy shit.
What?
Oh my word.
Oh, is it the I want to speak to your manager guy?
Yes. Oh my word, I feel sorry for these fuckers. When your literal life revolves around shit posting, and it takes over onto Facebook as well. I feel sorry for anybody trying to give Brian shit because motherfuck. Woo.
I just want to see Brian work retail and see how one of those idiots I will handle him.
He couldn't do it. He just like Brian's.
Oh, I can just.
There's just no way Brian can control. There's just no way Brian's got the patience to deal with stupid people.
I can just imagine his reaction to the lady who took a McDonald's sign hostage for a Big Mac.
Yeah. I actually got a vision in my head how he's going to deal with that. It's going to be fucking hilarious. Like, oh my word.
Okay, please, Matt, please tell us the story.
Okay, so basically I was working. It was during the time when they had that sale, if you order a meal off of the McDonald's app, you get a free Big Mac. This lady did not understand that, so when she ordered a meal, she thought she was getting a free Big Mac of that too. She did not. She got upset. I told everyone. I told the girl at the register that she wanted her free Big Mac. Had to bring over the manager to tell her no, she can't have the free Big Mac because she didn't order off the app. So she goes and takes the sign and tries holding it hostage.
Did you have to call the cops?
Fortunately, not escalate to that point. Fortunately, because I think everyone in the store was just watching it. Watching her. That's crazy. She looked like she was in her mid-20s.
Uh-huh.
And was never told no before in her life.
Huh.
So I think she had a moment of clarity when she noticed that everyone was staring at her like she was an idiot. But she's been banned from the store.
She's been banned, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, gee, I can't imagine why.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think any business would take it kindly to having a customer steal a sign.
you didn't get the sarcasm there, did you?
I'm kind of a.
Oh, I did.
kind of a. I'm kind of a. I'm actually kind of impressed it did not get bad enough that you had to call the cops.
I think if you put some kind of pressure on someone when they're being an idiot, they'll finally realize they're getting too stupid. And
Oh well. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But anyway, I posted something else there that I saw that was quite funny.
oh boy,
Is it on Slack? I might have missed it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I see it. Yep, I see it. I see it.
oh boy. You know,
That's-
it's almost like there are things that were made before 2018. You know,
Yeah.
before the age of politically correct,
Mm-hmm.
and these people don't seem to understand that.
Oh no! No doubt.
Can I please just take a fucking chainsaw to some people's faces?
The racist, sexist, and transphobic undertones of Frosty the fucking Snowman. What in the good and glorious fuck?
Well, we recently had an article extolling the virtues of how racist Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is. Fuck. Oh my word.
I don't read the Huffington Post because they don't pay their writers. So I never.
No, I just
You shouldn't read the Huffington Post anyway because it's fake news.
Well, just to let you guys know, Huffington Post in South Africa recently closed down.
The
And-
post office?
No,
No,
Huffington Post.
Huffington Post.
Oh.
Yeah, they opened up here with massive fanfare. They had one of our former. She was actually a good journalist, quite fair until something happened, and all downhill from there. To the point where Huffington Post in South Africa has closed down.
Oh my god. I just looked. Oh shit. I'm sorry I'm a little late to this, but oh my god.
What did you miss now?
No, I mean, I just looked at the thing Shane put up. Oh my god, there's only one GIF that fits that.
I think your
Yeah,
manager.
Nope, I gotta. Nope. You guys will see it. There's only one. There's just only one reaction that fits this.
Oh boy.
I'm literally following some of the funniest accounts I recently saw getting into it on Twitter now. Oh yeah, I see it.
It's just perfect.
I saw it before you posted the link in Slack. But yeah. Right-wing garbage.
I'm not even, I'm not, to be honest, we know Brian personally, and I'm not convinced he's right-wing. I'm not even convinced he's left-wing. He just does whatever. Brian just does whatever the fuck he wants.
I think
Brian is Brian.
I think Brian's political views involve naked gingers.
Yeah,
But still,
he doesn't. Yeah, like
so
I've never.
funny.
Yeah, honestly, if you want the right winger, that is Trent.
Yeah,
Although
but this is share this stuff for the people in the chat as well, so they can see what the hell we're on about, because this is too classic. This has to be shared.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I should, because
This is just too good to not share.
you are correct. I once made a meme out of the marginalized Rudolph one.
Oh my!
Ariana Huffington might have huffed something before she left her conservative. What the fuck? You're kidding me. At one point, Ariana Huffington was a conservative. I find that.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
She was until her husband turned gay.
Okay, so you can literally. I've got nothing.
I don't know. Just something. I just feel like I gotta call bullshit on that, man.
Oh, see, he was basically as right wing as Joe Scarborough.
So Neil.
Basically, it
Was never really right wing then.
actually, she was married to a Republican senator, I think it was,
Mhm.
and then he turned gay. Then they both turned crazy leftist.
So in other words, I don't know. This is sounding like the Parasite, but more successful.
Yeah, basically, she's a parasite.
Although
Yes.
in the Parasite's case, we're not convinced anything about her is genuine.
Yeah, about until 1998, she was aligned with Republicans and supportive of Newt Gingrich's Republican Revolution and Bob Dole's.
Oh, so she was a neocon.
Yep.
Neocons are not right wing. They are Democrats who did not like they are former Democrats who did not like the direction the party was going because at that point the Democrat Party became about shitting on Israel.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they still about shitting on Israel?
Depends. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see the Dems talk about it too much these days. Although, yeah, just like, okay, if I keep talking, oh, Keen, I'm gonna be. You guys need to stop me before I go to a place that I'm gonna regret talking about. Because Israel is one of those conversations you just cannot have a nuanced opinion on, apparently.
Let's just stop the whole the politics conversation right here.
Yeah, we don't want to give Dan's channel a strike.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just looking for something interesting now again. I saw something, and then I missed it.
I wish I could end any argument with D's nuts.
If only.
Well, there was a time. Wasn't there a time when people thought you could legitimately end an argument with "I was frozen today"?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, it started with Nostalgia Critic. He was doing a review of what was that Hulk Hogan movie, Suburban Commando. I think that was it. And somewhere in the middle of that movie, Christopher Lloyd's character gets frozen. And after he thaws out, he gets into an argument with Hulk Hogan, and it ends with him yelling, "Christ, I was frozen today!"
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Doug just says, "That's the perfect way to end any argument." Because you've got nothing to respond to. I mean, nothing to respond with. Because it's just so out of left field. You're just left bewildered, and you're like, "I've got nothing."
Yeah. Oh well, I got some cringe for you.
Oh, really?
That's guaranteed to take your passion away from drawing, definitely.
Oh boy. Oh boy, this. Okay. Yup, I can see why.
I just find it funny that the account that posted it says passion for drawing. Really? I think you might have lost yours after doing that.
I have to wonder why he tagged, how he had the temerity to tag Frank Miller in that.
Probably hoping to get blocked.
You know, you can have passion. It just doesn't mean that you have talent.
True, like a certain punk ass bitch.
I have passion to draw. I just fucking can't. I know I can learn how, but I'd rather apply that into my writing instead.
Yeah, it's better to apply yourself to what you can be good at, what you know you can be good at, as opposed to something that might not might take a long time.
Why do you think I hired? Why do you guys think I hired Victor and Ginger to illustrate my comic? I mean, I can draw okay, but I just don't have the discipline or the. I mean, like if I wanted to, I probably could learn how to illustrate a comic and do Photoshop, but I don't have the time or, frankly, the discipline to do it.
Well, for your drawing, I mean, at least at the end of the day, keep going with it. I mean, like I tell every single other artist that I've come across on Twitter, especially ones that are down on their art, I mean, it's a talent. Like everything else, you can develop it.
This is where you get into what I call the samurai mindset.
Not even that. I mean, never mind the whole mindset or whatnot. It's just literally.
No,
just
I mean, like,
fucking doodle something, draw an app. You know, literally practice it. That's all from what I've heard from everybody I've spoken to. It's all you need to do.
Well, dude, that's literally the samurai mindset, because like the thing with samurais, they were constantly trying to improve themselves. They never stopped.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of a page in like manga Vagabond where the
Musashi?
There's a manga out called Vagabond, which is about the life of Musashi Miyamoto.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know about it. It's like it's an account of his life, but it's heavily fictionalized.
Yeah, it's based on a novel, but there's a scene where you have Otsu, the female, the main love interest for the character.
Mm-hmm.
She asks the head of the Yagyu household why he still practices swordsmanship, even though he's a great master and his son, who's so great that his son teaches the Shogun. His response is that there is no limit to technique. only limit to to your ability to learn. Or no, it was there's no limit to how far you can advance. Basically,
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Yeah, that one I posted. But to get back to funny stuff, that was actually very inspirational, Matt. That was very inspirational. Must remember
there's a
that.
lot of those moments in that manga. Surprisingly,
This is something that I remember us when we had a conversation with Dan and Slack about how like Dan doesn't really agree with the whole pursuit of perfection thing. He sees that as like because you're chasing an impossible goal and you're just never going to it, and you just accept that you're always going to be flawed. I mean, like I get his mindset, but I mean, samurais dedicated themselves to perfection, knowing they would never get it, but it was the pursuit of the perfection that drove them to improve.
Yeah. No, well, at the end of the day, it comes down to your mindset. But the thing is, if you still apply yourself, I mean, you don't have to chase perfection because that in and of itself, in my opinion, is a fool's errand. But you can still apply yourself to improve because that you can always do. You will never be the best because the moment you think you are the best is the moment you start to stagnate.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's the thing with the samurai. They knew they could never achieve they could never achieve perfection, but it was the pursuit of but the drive to pursue it is how they improved themselves.
You know, I read the novel Musashi, which Vagabond is based off of, and there was a moment where Musashi learns one of his limits, and that was when he tried to turn swampland into farmland. It was a complete and total failure, which taught him that there are limits out there. It's just in what can be, it's set by the terms of the universe rather than a man's terms. Basically, it was you can't turn a swamp. You can't turn a swamp into a farm.
Yeah, that can't be done.
Nope. And he learned that the hard way.
Unless, of course, you're the Dutch.
Well, let's be honest. Musashi was a talented swordsman, talented farmer, not so much.
Yeah. See, apply yourself to your trade.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So back onto funny things. That link I just posted. I've seen some funny replies to this meme I posted earlier today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just read the thread. And that's not even the ones that were quote tweeted.
It's taking a little while to load on my head. Okay, here we go. Oh, yep, I remember this.
Yeah, but I've had some additional replies to that, and some of them got quite funny. I mean, I just find it funny how many people actually, if this was real, it's just like, you literally die by falling off a cliff, really? It's just funny. Oh, here's the latest one. Derailing an intercity train in Reading. Oh, well, at least I get to take a few of you fuckers with me.
Okay, I'm trying to see what the funniest ones are. Okay, so Kane Highwind says smashed by giant hammer infused with lightning. What do you think he's talking about there?
Probably some fantasy game.
Ari says killed by zombies and Dishonored, so I don't need to guess at that. Killbox says ammunition detonation inside my Challenger tank.
You played World of Tanks?
Tycade, I died by falling off a cliff. Thanks, Breath of the Wild. Don't need to guess at that. Desroin says, I'll be burned by a fireball dropped by a black cloud wearing shades.
He was playing Super Mario.
Porta says probably running my horse straight into a tree. I'm guessing Red Dead Redemption.
Probably.
Yes. Or Red Dead Online. No.
Vivian says I got blown by a minigunner in Spider-Man.
Here's
Drez
one for you.
electrocuted by Blanca.
Yeah.
Walker Ack in the middle of the night underground zombie spawner. I have no idea what that is. Ristorante Purgatory says blown up in my battle mech. Died like a boss.
That's actually a good way to go.
Comics
Yeah.
Gatekeeper eaten by a pill popping ghost.
Pac-Man.
Raffle Turkey. Horse threw me off a cliff in Red Dead Redemption 2. Marsupilami says killed by a special infected zombie. Left 4 Dead, it's the witch. Tough Boy. Beaten to death by the big titty cast of Senran Kagura.
You know, that's not a bad way to go.
Big Jet. Outgunned by a group of heretical Imperial Guardsmen trying to locate a Magus Belodgis. I know I definitely mispronounced that.
It was probably playing Inquisitor Marts, but like I said, that's just in the thread, excluding everything. People quote tweeting me throughout the day. I mean, if I have to go find every single one of those, I mean, because my notifications went nuts again today after retweeting some art, and it's just when I came online after I got home from work, I had over 80 notifications.
Derailing an inner city train and reading. Well, at least I get to take a few of you fuckers with me. You said you got overrun by Horde of Orcs. Were you playing Space Marine?
I was busy playing one of the harder missions in Winter Assault.
Let that thing to vibrate, Matt.
It is on vibrate.
Then why did I hear the tone go off
don't know.
anyway?
Gotta check the tablet. Because that should be on that should be off.
Oh well, phones.
The
bastards.
tablet turned itself on.
Ah,
How does it do that?
I don't know. Why is technology so stupid?
I don't know. This is. I don't know. Like this isn't technology supposed to be your wheelhouse.
Look, it wasn't made by Sony. It's not my responsibility.
can't this fucker get another 12-hour ban, please?
What happened?
Guys are affecting my timeline again.
Oh, great! The punk ass bitches. The punk ass bitches back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that
Knows how to run.
I'm
Knows how to run a publishing company by ass.
just gonna say that, like a lot of the Comicsgate creators, he's going to be when the movement falls. He's gonna definitely be one of those. He's
Shut out of luck.
Yeah.
I mean, unlike a lot of the Comicsgate careers, I'm not gonna feel. I feel bad for him.
No.
Not gonna feel
So-
bad for him at all.
I don't. I challenge that he knows how to run a publishing company. I guarantee he's never run a business in his life.
The only thing I have to say that he's got going for him is that he can be professional in getting the product out on time, unlike some of the big name creators.
Yeah, but that comes down to giving very, very unrealistic launch window. Considering no groundwork's been laid, you have to do everything from scratch. And I do mean everything from scratch.
Yeah.
You've got no script. You've got no art laid out. You've got no fucking idea what you're doing. Now all of a sudden you're applying yourself to a project that made a lot of money, and all of a sudden it goes from there.
Yep.
That kind of sounds like how the ANC government does business.
About the only difference is in this case they don't have a whole country to fuck up.
Yeah.
No, but they do have a gigantic movement on which a lot of independent creators have pinned their hopes and dreams on.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is kind of
if there is a silver lining to this, it's that the damage these people are going to do will be minimal in the long run. Like they're not this isn't going to kill them fucking up is not going to kill the comics industry. It's going to chug along without them.
But here's the thing, though. I think a lot of these smaller creators who have pinned their hopes on applying themselves to these bigger names, I think if they have a good project, a good product, and if they've been professional and very, approachable to their clientele, the guys who back them, I think they'll survive.
Yeah, they will.
I honestly think that a lot of these smaller creators will survive the inevitable Tower of Babel coming down.
I prefer my analogy. They'll survive the asteroid impact.
Because they're gonna be like the mammals, but I prefer more biblical terms.
I know, but I guess that one's more poetic, but mine is a bit more, how do I put it? Biting.
It's got a bit more oomph.
Mine's got more bite. Because I can remember a Marmaduke stream where Malin was on, where he said, I see Comicsgate as a phoenix rising from the ashes. No, John, it's an asteroid striking the Earth.
Honestly, I think that the big two are just so ingrained in pop culture that they'll just be fine.
Yeah, they'll just, like I said, the comics industry, it'll survive. It'll chug along with or without them.
Too big to fail.
Yes and no. Because, on the one hand, Marvel is bleeding.
But that's the other thing that I do also think that a lot of people are failing to realize. And this is purely from me sitting here from fucking way across the Atlantic, just observing from this side. I honestly think that the bean counters over at Disney are noticing that Marvel Comics is bleeding cash. They're not making nearly as much money as they used to.
Yeah.
They've made a lot of moves. The whole get woke, go broke thing is starting to play itself out now. And if you look at that video I posted that Jay Shiro and Kat Rocha did for, I probably butchered his surname completely there, on the latest Mags book, that is just horrendous. The art in and of itself, I honestly felt like I wanted to stab my eyes out how bad that art is. And this is by supposed industry professionals. And I do mean people who work for Marvel, work for DC, big companies, multi-million-dollar companies. And I've seen better art from people who do this shit as a hobby on Twitter.
Fuck, my team is head and shoulders above these people.
I know, and that's the shocking part. And the same thing can be applied to if you look at any of the movies. Look at the DC Titans TV series. How bad are those costumes? Cosplayers on a shoestring budget who do this purely for passion, just because they like the characters, do a better job than people who are getting paid probably a decent salary. Not minimum wage. I'm probably a decent salary. Outfitters and everybody, and they can't even get the basic details of the bloody costumes correct. Really? Unless, of course, these outfitters are being paid shoestring budgets like we know based on information that's been revealed by Richard from Diversity in Comics and everybody. you know how the guys are at Marvel and DC are paying their writers and artists. If Warner Brothers are probably paying their outfitters the same amount of money. But that's still no excuse considering the shoestring budgets most cosplayers work on. Just my take.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's also one of the things I've noticed between Marvel and DC, based on comments from the pros, is that with Sean Murphy's comments about how Marvel doesn't have enough, can't pay them enough, it just shows you how much better DC is doing in comic sales.
Well, that's because DC figured out. Well, that's because DC was smart enough to figure out. You know what? Whatever Marvel does, we'll just do the opposite.
Except they hire Nick.
But here's the thing, though. I'm going to throw a caveat on that.
Yeah.
DC is sticking mags on their smaller imprint. They're not giving mags free reign to run on their bigger titles.
Oh yeah. So in other words, whatever mags can't do a lot of damage.
Precisely. Quote unquote. And look, we hired this person. Yay! We've given them their own book. Yay! But this person has not been given access or free reign on one of their mainstream titles. So they hire to get the brownie points. However, they limit the damage that can be caused. Marvel, on the other hand, have hired guys like Dan Slott, Axel Alonso, and whoever the fuck else. I mean, it's nuts. And they've given them free reign on their big titles, on Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, you name it. They're big name titles. They've given these people who push their identity and gender-based politics, all that crap, every single one of the bad, nasty things people have been railing against for how long? They've given these ideologues free reign and access on. Look, at the end of the day, you do see some of that permeating some of the things on DC. I mean, Gail Simone on
Plastic Man, and then of course there's the whole thing with the Vertigo relaunch. Although,
and the recent missteps with Wonder Woman. DC is not entirely
and giving Bendis Superman. Although,
yeah, but that said, the damage is fairly limited.
Yeah.
It is there. The rot is there, but it does seem that like the bigwigs at DC are doing their best to kind of try and contain it, because they do realize that they can't allow it to spread too far. Otherwise, they will start taking losses. And I think Warner Brothers, for the most part, will be a lot less forgiving than Disney.
Yeah.
Oh.
I honestly think the bigwigs at Warner Brothers will be a lot less forgiving than the bigwigs over at Disney, because for the most part, Disney and their guys are very far left, very far left of the politics. So they're all too happy to let these guys do whatever the fuck they want.
Up until it's pretty. Well, trust me. Once Disney notices that going this route is really cutting into their bottom line, then they're going to start caring.
Yes, that's the thing. But I think that's why Warner Brothers, on the other hand, have actually put their foot down with DC, and they have taken steps to some degree to limit the damage. Which is why, for the most part, if I am reading everything correctly, based on guys like Weaponized Nerd Rage and everything, watching the videos, DC is still the better company to buy books from.
Yeah, it's also one of the biggest issues I had with Comicsgate was the reaction to Scott Snyder. He was very professional about everything. He's still professional with his fans. He still appreciates his fans. He just does not appreciate internet movements. And then he had that big backlash from the YouTubers about it. And it's just,
Yeah.
guys, it's just if it's just a hashtag, you should be okay with trying to build a bridge with this guy, since he seems to be very
He's at least
sensible.
not open. He's at least not openly hostile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then the other day, I mean, I actually, I'm still not blocked by Gail Simone. Surprise, surprise. After a tweet that I tweeted, I replied to her. I honestly expected her to block me for that. Because believe it or not, I honestly believe that if she spends all the energy that she expends on Twitter bullshit on her writing, I honestly think that she could be a decent writer. I do.
Well, she also needs an editor who's going to tell her, you need to go back and rewrite this.
Yes, granted, but I think that comes down to the fact that if she spends more time on her writing, honestly, I think she could be a much better writer, and then an editor would not have such a hard time sorting through her shit. That's me. But because she is in the mindset of attack the whole time, that's why she is the way she is.
And I think with Gail Simone, with her attacks on EVS, it's more of a friend who's been betrayed than anything else.
I don't know the internal politics.
Well, she did this big write-up about how her and EVS used to be friends, how they would, after that big project they had together, they would talk for hours on end about stuff. And when I think about it, her attacks on Ethan are a lot different. Seem a lot more personal than her attacks on Diversity in Comics and others.
That is true, because you did tell me that there were a lot of these people that considered Ethan a friend.
Well, if you're looking at it from that lens, I mean, if I have to think back about it, considering Mark Waid's tweets or DMs or whatever, when he told Ethan, or pretty much demanded that he fix this shit now, that really does, if you look at it in that light, that does look more like somebody, like a friend that felt he was betrayed, or at least a colleague that felt he was betrayed, rather than just some random person that you worked with.
And honestly, I don't think Mark Waid would go on a channel where he didn't feel safe.
That is also true. So that right there, yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, but as for other writers, Kwanzaa, Mags, yeah, I don't know.
They're just being propped up because they're stupid enough to play the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've suffered through Kim and Kim now.
I'm sorry for your brain loss damage.
Like I get it. Kwanzaa and Mags, they can't write for shit, but they are dumb enough to play the identity politics game. They're dumb enough to let themselves be used.
See, my biggest problem with Kim and Kim, if I have to put it in a nutshell, fuck all is explained. Nothing of that book is explained as to why it happened. Why does shit in this fucking story universe work the way it does? Nothing is explained.
You know, you'd at least think. I don't get it. It's like, here you are. You have this book is getting propped up. and these mistakes are so fucking basic. Even I know how to correct them.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, how many times did you guys tell me to go back and rewrite one of my changeling drafts?
and once or twice.
Yeah. It's not a whole. There's not a whole lot that I had to say to you about rewriting. It's more of a, hey, it could this could be changed this or make
Just
suggestions.
Literally minor tweaks to an already, solid script.
Yep.
I've never published a comic before in my life. How am I getting stuff that is? How am I getting this stuff right?
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you want my honest opinion, attention to detail. You have a passion for your project, and you're not just doing this to fill some imaginary quota.
Well, I can't anyway. I can't fill an imaginary quota anyway because I'm a straight white cis man.
Yes. Let's throw out the buzzwords.
I'm sorry, but the deck. If I was trying to fill a quota, the deck would be stacked against me.
Yeah, but that's just the thing. I mean, and as for the other guy, the guy who rides Kwanzaa, who rides black, I'm just going off of what I've heard on Just Some Guys channel, and fuck me, that's bad.
Huh.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. That's fucking cock. Translated. That's fucking shit.
Yeah. All I can say, just like, again, these are basic fucking mistakes.
Yes, basic mistakes, and that's the thing that really gets me about a lot of those books. I mean, it honestly looks like they've got no editing staff, they've got no quality assurance, they've got nobody looking at these books. It's literally like, cool, it's written, get it drawn, and push it out the door. It honestly looks like, what's a good analogy to use? Battlefield 5. We need to get this game out the door right now. We need to get this book out the door right now, so we can capitalize on whatever sales we can make, and then forget about it and move on to the next one. And the same goes for Chelsea Kane's Man Eaters.
Oh my god, honestly did not. Here's the thing. I went out of my. I have read Bitch Planet, but I did not pay for it because I just knew based off the title alone, this book was going to be awful, and I did not want Kelly Sue DeConnick getting so much as a cent off me. I won't tell people how I got them, just that I didn't pay for them.
You should go dumpster diving.
In a manner of speaking.
Did you have to piece them all together with tape?
Okay, look. I honestly thought Bitch Planet was untoppable for awful feminist comics, but no. Chelsea Kane it's like Chelsea Kane came on and said, "Hold my beer."
Or in her case, hold my non-alcoholic cocktail.
We saw that coming with how much disrespect she had for the Mockingbird character.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean,
well, we've got a funny meme out of it at least.
Yeah.
This is everything to do with all the comics history and all that shit. I don't really know at this point in time. Don't really care.
Well, let's put it this way: Mockingbird would never wear a shirt that says "Ask me about my feminist agenda."
Mockingbird is smart.
What I know of the character is what I saw on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I thought the character was portrayed rather well by, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name, or Adrienne
Palicki, I think that's her name.
Yeah. The surname is the one that's going to trip me up. if you probably watched any of my videos, if I try to pronounce any sort of funny surname, I butcher it completely.
Well, if you're only familiar with the TV show character, she was long remembered as Hawkeye's wife as well.
Cool.
And basically, they fit as well together as Peter Parker and Mary Jane, in my opinion.
Oh man, no
Well,
wonder you couldn't. Tank, no wonder you couldn't pronounce her last name. She's Polish.
Yeah. Anything outside of our own surnames here in South Africa, I'll probably not be able to pronounce it. So I'm gonna type you one.
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be one I bet Matt and I can't pronounce.
No, this is actually one you will be able to pronounce, but it will be wrong.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I'm reading that as Lagrange.
That is pretty much. And after one of the more famous people in our country that has that, after she became famous, she actually did start pronouncing her surname like that so that people would be able to pronounce it. But to pronounce it correctly, Lagrange.
Is it the Afrikaan? Oh yeah, that's right. Like the Dutch first settled in South Africa, didn't they?
Yep.
So I found something funny,
Yes.
and it's about Tumblr.
Oh, lol.
Basically, the Washington Post are shooting
Oh no.
Tumblr went
Wapo.
all the way down.
Actually, Matt, have you ever come across some Vietnamese surnames that just look like they're impossible to pronounce?
Yes.
In
In fact,
for me, anything. Let me put it this way. So I'm going to list hard to pronounce surnames for me. Pretty much anything Greek, Russian, well, for that matter, Eastern European. A lot of Asian surnames. And I'm talking about the broad spectrum of Vietnamese, Korean, Malaysian, Indonesian, you name it. Japanese, Chinese, all those. If there are some of those, I'm looking at them like,
oh, you want to know something? Here's one that sounds like it should be easy to pronounce, but it's really hard because of spelling.
Oh.
Win.
I know it. I know what you're talking about. It's like it's spelled like Hyung.
Nguyen is how it's spelled.
Oh, you want to
Yeah,
try? You want a field day? Try
I'm
and
not
pronounce.
even-
You want to have a field day? Try pronouncing some Celtic surnames.
that as well. I forgot about those.
I'm convinced that whoever came up with the Win surname, though, I think they knew that telemarketers would be a thing, so they came up with the surname to troll them.
Here's one that always fucks me up. I never get this one. I mean, fucking really?
How do you pronounce Matt? How do you pronounce that?
I don't know. Because I've only run into the surname once, and it was when I was in elementary school, and was in his class for only 1 year and never saw him again.
Yeah, but I've actually seen that quite a bit of times, especially popping up in movie credits and things. And I'm like,
Fuck.
fucking really? But yeah, what's another one that could fuck people around? Ah, yes.
Okay, okay. Actually, here's if there's
No,
any.
that's another.
You
That's
know,
another one from yeah.
I was gonna say though, if there's any, if there was anything good about some of these Irish surnames, it's that they were anglicized.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, I'm gonna drop a couple. Tell me if you can guess what the English equivalent is. Oh, is that pronounced Duplessis?
You actually fucking hell, you actually got it right.
Ain't it?
Helps that my stepmom is Dutch.
Motherfucker. that, holy shit.
I'm pretty convinced that the Celts went fuck it on the names.
Okay, now what do you think that's? Try and guess the English equivalent of that.
Not even going to try.
Murphy.
How do you get Murphy from that?
You fucking could have fooled me.
How do you get Murphy from that?
I'm going to take a stab at this one. Callahan?
Kelly.
Oh.
You know, if you didn't say anything, that would be my guess, Kelly. Because that looks like a Kelly kind of name.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not even going to try.
Walsh. You get Walsh from that.
Here's a funny one from ours again.
And people who are just listening to this, I'm sorry.
This one's really gonna fuck with you. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that.
Kokemore?
Okay, so Kukamur.
Oh.
Basically, if you have to translate that into something people would understand, it means beating cakes.
Okay.
Now, to start going around with it and adding on to the funny things of how surnames came about. When a lot of our Afrikaans and Dutch surnames were originally formed back in the day when people started using surnames, it pretty much, as you probably know, stemmed from the person's profession or what they did. So we also have one called Van Niekerk, which translates as from no church. Because the guy literally, because he never went to church, he decided, oh, fine, my surname is from no church, Van Niekerk. Kukamur is a name for a baker. Now, why that's funny is if you have to take that into context of professions available today. Think gynecologist.
Oh.
Cook meaning it being a slang term for vagina. And yeah, you make the rest of the connotations from there.
Oh.
Yeah. We are a filthy minded fucking culture. I will tell you that much.
I'm still okay. Now try and guess on that next one I dropped. Hughes.
What?
The English equivalent of that one is Hughes.
You're talking bullshit here, sir.
I have this feeling that there's a lot of unused letters after they anglicized those names.
Pretty
Probably.
fucking much.
Well, that's what happens when your language is oral and you don't develop a written version.
Woo boy.
That was the problem with my fucking Celtic ancestors. They never got around to developing a written language. They only had everything was passed down orally. They did not have they did not have any writing until the Christians came in, and by that time, well, everything got rewritten, and oh my lord, what's this going to be?
Oh boy. Well, Tank, that's a doozy.
Oh lord.
So, and then obviously I could always go into the other surnames from other cultures as well, because we do have quite a melting pot. I mean, I could look at some Sutu surnames, some Zulu surnames, Xhosa surnames, but I'm not going to because I really don't want to wreck your brain.
Yeah, some of these are. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. A lot of these are. Man, like the cultures we come from, they have some really wacky surnames.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's nuts if you really want to go into all of that.
Yeah, I get. It's just they. It's probably just can't speak for you, Tink, because you grew up speaking both English and Afrikaans. But like Matt and I, we both grew up speaking primarily English.
Yeah, no, it's English is pretty much one of those things because we had to learn it because a
British
lot of
Empire.
the times, not so much that. It's just at that point in time we were on our way to becoming a fairly well-known area in the world, and obviously having trade with the rest of the world, English was and still is the most spoken language.
So really, it's not because you at one point were a colony of the British Empire.
Well, we actually did try our best to break away, but unlike the Americans, we never managed to do so.
Well, if I remember correctly, you got granted independence anyway.
Eventually, not that it lasted long.
Although, isn't it kind of like with like New Zealand, Australia, and Canada, where you're still technically part of the Commonwealth?
Technically part, but as fucked and cucked as the rest of the Commonwealth is, that doesn't really mount for shit these days. Be honest.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, you're an independent nation, but you're still technically part of the British Commonwealth.
The only reason we're still part of the Commonwealth is because our government loves the money.
No doubt about it.
Deals.
So yeah, it's because they still love the British money.
Yep. Because pounds are worth quite a bit.
Yeah, the Brits were smart to keep the pound.
Well, it's not going to come around for much longer if Theresa May keeps fucking shit up.
Well, let's just put it this way: the pound is still a better currency than the euro.
Yeah, but one of the things that is bound to happen if this whole Brexit thing goes fucking pear-shaped like it is, the pound is going to be one of the first things to fall.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee that.
Yeah, it probably. Yeah, don't. You're probably right.
Pretty much the only reason the British economy is still strong because they kept the pound. They didn't switch over to the euro.
Well, they do. Yeah, well, yeah, they didn't. They kept the pound, even though they do business in the euro. But they were smart to keep their currency, unlike Greece, because
unlike the majority of the countries that joined the eurozone.
Yeah, buddy of mine, Greek buddy of mine in my werewolf group, like he told me, like back in the day, he used to a cup of coffee would cost him like 300 drachmas, which was their currency at the time. When they switched over to the euro, adjusting for inflation, he would have been it tripled in price.
Yeah, inflation's a bitch.
Yeah, so what he's paying in euros for a cup of coffee would be the equivalent of 1,000 drachmas.
Yeah, And that's not the only thing that really fucked them up. I mean, another thing that really screwed Greece over and Portugal as well are their state-run rehabilitation programs and the legalization of drugs.
Well, not
I know a lot
Well-
of people. I know a lot of people, especially libertarians, will fight me on this, but you shouldn't legalize that shit. It becomes a drain on your country's resources. It's a bigger drain on your country's resources than it is to actively try to stop people from using this shit.
Yeah, well, tell that to the Washington government after we legalized marijuana out here.
I'm not referring to weed. In places like Greece and Portugal, they legalized everything. Heroin,
The
cocaine,
hard. Oh, we're talking about the hard
ecstasy.
stuff.
Everything. All narcotics, as far as I know, are legal there with state-run rehabilitation programs.
Another thing he told me about was that another thing that really screwed Greece over was that the government kept borrowing money.
Yep. They kept borrowing money. They kept borrowing money, bailouts after bailouts after bailouts, to the point where
Yeah.
Greece is now so far in fucking debt. If they ever did switch back to their own currency now, it's not going to work.
Yeah, well, that's also kind of where the whole Greeks steal money from Germany meme comes from, because because they kept borrowing money from Germany.
Yeah. And that is why Europe should have never fucking signed the European deal.
And look,
Never.
like if the EU should have been anything, it should have just been a trading agreement and nothing more. Like, there should not have been this like one currency. They should have let the different countries maintain their own currency, but it should have been strictly set up for trade. It
Kind of
never
like
should have.
NAFTA, except for Europe.
Oh,
Well,
that's
how
actually-
else?
Fuck, you know what? Now, oh yeah, because considering how NAFTA fucking screwed a lot of American businesses over just because it became cheaper for them to set up shop down in Mexico.
I'm
Another-
referring to the renegotiated one, obviously.
Well, another thing is Germany can't have their fourth reach.
Yeah, the Fourth Reich. Mein Führer Merkel will not be able to do her bidding.
Actually, here she's not going to be running for re-election.
Well, nobody fucking wants her.
No.
It's amazing she stayed in as long as she did.
Well, here's why. Beautiful, beautiful promises. All these wonderful new voters coming in.
Well, how well did that turn out? It didn't.
Oh, it worked out in the short term.
Well, that's all they care about is short term because their terms are often so short that
Well, not only that, I
Going-
mean, not only that, she's got no children. She's got no investment in the how the future turns out.
None of the major leaders in Europe have that. May, Macron, Merkel, none of these people have children that they're leaving behind. The only reason Italy is starting to pull itself together is because of guys like Matteo Salvini, families who have to live in the fucking countries after this.
Yeah.
Same goes for Viktor Orban of Hungary and whoever is in charge of Poland and the Visegrad nations. Those guys, they have families. They know what's at stake if this shit goes pear-shaped for them.
Exactly. I just looked up the current Polish prime minister. I'm not even going to try pronouncing his name.
Post the link.
I'll post his
I'm
name.
going to take a stab at that.
You could barely pronounce Adrian Palicki's name.
Mateusz Morawiecki.
How are you able to pronounce Polish?
Well, lucky guess. It's probably pronounced incorrectly anyway.
It might be. I don't know. Yeah, I think it might actually be on the. It might actually be on the money there. You know, I got a way to find out. Let's go. Let's use my handy dandy
Notebook.
smartphone. Well, it kind of is a notebook when you think about it. Let's see what using the smartphone gets us. Current Prime Minister of Poland.
Mateusz Morawiecki is the Prime Minister of Poland.
Mateusz Morawiecki. I don't even.
Oh, I was almost correct.
Yeah, I think actually, if I'm going by what the lady in my phone said, you were close.
Like I said, I was almost correct.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's check this. Let's see how long we've been going. It's almost noon. 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. I think we're at a good spot. We can call it good, and then Matt and I will come back at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. We have Ginger, of course. We have Troy coming on, and Ava.
Is Ginger going to be someone who's going to be on all the evenings once?
She's more of a night owl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any problems with it. It's just, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it's just, honestly, it sits her down to the ground more. It's just like she's just more of a night owl. And she's going to be doing a little doodle of Charger, Radnem, and Maeve.
Of course.
I actually got to see if Troy can hook me up with Wes Collins, see if we can do like a little crossover with Maeve and Charger, because they are both, because in our sphere of in our corner of the indie sphere, they're like the two solo teen characters. I think Charger's supposed to be like 16.
That he is.
Yeah. Although they're going for more like a traditional superhero story, which is not bad. All right. Okay, we're gonna stop right here, and we'll be right back at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, guys.
Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you very much.